All right, so we're going to talk about Panda today. There have been allegations against him that he's been cheating in Destiny 2. Some sort of aim lock. There are some clips out there that people have gathered from, I guess, the past year of him having some insanely fast snaps on stream with his sniper. And people are accusing him of cheating in Destiny 2. Now, I thought that this was a little bit of a joke. He is a well-known player. And after reviewing the footage, it was kind of obvious to me that every single one of the examples that they showed to basically accuse him of cheating are net results of a fault in the encoder or in the way that the Elgato 4K 60 basically transfers the video from one PC to another video, or from one PC to another PC. And I'm gonna prove that to you in this quick video. I will probably leave it unlisted. But if I do happen to make this video public, then that is the reason why it's up on the channel. I'm sorry, this is not the usual type of content if this is going to be public, but I felt that I know quite a little bit about encoding, and I basically just wanted to share the knowledge. So let's talk about the clips. There are basically 4 clips that they show up in the video. There's actually 5, but I couldn't find the origins of the 5th one, and also the 5th one does not show a really fast flick or a snap to the head, but rather supposedly shows Panda locking onto a player's head. And I feel like this is the only clip I can't 100% disprove, but it's also a case of confirmation bias, which, well, that's my opinion, and you can form your own after I basically debunk every single one of these clips. So the first clip is, he's playing on this map, don't know what the map's called, and he has this insanely fast flick on a guy named Onyx. He doesn't kill him, I think. But that was it, basically. And the reason that people are saying that this is obviously an aimbot is because the flick happens in one frame. Basically, one frame his cursor's right here, and the next he's basically next to Onyx, or on him, I guess. And this is really the reason behind all of the clips. All of the clips happen to have flicks that are 1 or 2 frames long, and that seems really fishy because nobody can flick in one frame, right? But there's a little more going on. Whenever you're streaming or recording, the recording is never perfect. First of all, because you're not playing the game at 60 frames a second and also recording at 60 frames a second. So basically, when a frame is sent to whatever hardware or software you're using to encode it, it has to choose. If you have 120 FPS perfectly, that's never an issue. But let's say you have a little bit more than that, there are going to be some frames that are going to be a little bit inconsistent. What happens a lot, especially in the case with the Elgato 4K 60, is that it's never a smooth 60 frames a second all the way through. When you're playing above 60 frames a second, there's usually a form of screen tearing on a 2PC setup, which Panda is playing on. And there can also be stutter in the encoding. And these two things are the reason you're seeing these 1 frame flicks. Let's go through the footage frame by frame. And I'm going to zoom in on the timeline really close here. So every step here is a singular frame. So as we go through here, nothing crazy going on, We're going one frame forward, 1 frame forward, 1 frame forward, 1 frame forward. And right about here, you can see that the player Panda is starting to flick to the player, but then nothing. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4 whole frames with the same image. Now what's happened here is that in game, he's moving his cursor towards the player at a very high speed, nonetheless, but still not at an inhuman speed of 1 frame. What's actually happening here is that they just compare the last frame here to the next frame. But in reality, when we go over the timeline, this part should not be frozen. And yet it is. This is because the Elgato 4K had like an encoder overload or something. These very minor hitches happen a lot. In fact, they happen on every stream with an Elgato 4K 60. Nothing is wrong with that product in specifically. It's just that a lot of devices have this problem. And to prove to you that this is actually the case, I just took the most recent clip from my friend Wids, who's playing Tarkov at the moment. I've got the tab open still here on my second monitor. This guy, I happen to know, also uses the Elgato 4K 60, and he uses it to stream Tarkov. He also has a 2PC setup, almost exactly the same as Panda has. It's like almost the same setup. So I basically went to his clips Just got to the top 24-hour clips. And the first thing I see when I open it up in Premiere Pro is the same duplicate frames, even when nothing is going on. We can see here we're going, it's very blocky by the way, because there's a lot of foliage in this shot. And the more foliage you have, the harder it is for the encoder to keep up. So this is a perfect example. But we're gonna go through this frame by frame, and you'll see here I already left some markers. So we're gonna go here. If I go here frame by frame, you can see that right around here, it stays the same it stays the same. At least half of the frame is because there's a screen tear here. So that's a micro stutter right there. And then another frame. So here we have 3 frames that are essentially the same. 2.5 frames, I should say. And then it kind of just skips forward again. A couple seconds later, we have the same thing. We have 3 frames here that are almost identical. Now you'll see some stuff going on here as we go forward. And that's because the encoder is basically encoding the same frame twice. Doesn't mean it's a different frame. It just means that the same frame was sent to OBS 2 times in a row. You can actually see that the second version is a little bit cleaner because it uses information from the previous frame to build that next frame out. Perfect example here because of the foliage again. And I can take any clip from Wids in his recent playtime, any game whatsoever, and you will see this as well. Anyway, let's move over to the second clip from Panduh. Same thing again. He gets a pretty fast flick. Doesn't actually shoot. I'm going to play this in real time once.
He's sniping that.
Doesn't actually shoot, but he has a really fast flick. People are saying this is way too fast because if you slow it down, it's only 1 frame. So, what's actually going on here? Well, I've already set the marker here, but right around here, the encoder hitches. So if we go to this frame by frame, and we actually want to watch the bullet trail here, just as the guy said in the video that are trying to basically accuse Panduh of hacking. We watch the bullet go step by step, and then right around here is when Panduh starts adjusting his aim to hit the guy. But as this happens, you will see, and I want you to watch this area right here as well as this. You'll see what I'm talking about. We go to the next frame. Nothing unusual. Next frame. Still nothing unusual. But watch around this area as I go to the next frame. It stays the same. You see that? So this is the previous frame, and it's kind of like catching up. And then if we go forward once more, same frame again. Now, if you look very closely, I'm going to go full screen for this, you'll see the same thing happening with the foliage. As I go back and forth, you'll see that, like right around this area, for example, you'll see it changes a little bit. People are saying this is a different frame. This is proof that it's changed, you know? He's actually doing it in 1 frame. No, this is the exact same frame. What you can see is you can see the difference in audio here. As I scrub back and forth, you can see the audio official move, which tells me that this is the Elgato sending the footage from the gaming PC to the streaming PC that's hitching. Not OBS itself, just Elgato that is having that hitch. Because if OBS itself was stuttering, then you would also see this little thing right here stutter. This is not done in 1 frame. You can see it's the exact same frame by the bullet trail. We have 1 frame here. Hold up, I want to zoom out so you can see that I'm actually moving the timeline. We have 1 frame here, then back, still the same frame. We go back 1 more, and then half of the frame is still the same. Well, I should say 1/4, but a part of it is. So in all this time, he's adjusting his aim. He's adjusting his aim, adjusting his aim. And then here you see that it jumps 1 frame forward, and then after that, the stream catches up. And he's already here with his aim. You see how that works? Next clip, which is this clip. I'll just play this out. So it's not actually the flick that is suspicious here. It's the fact that the reticle goes this distance in 1 frame, which is very suspicious, right? But watch what happens again a couple frames beforehand. We'll just play this out. Everything going normally. Everything going normally. And then right around here, another duplicate frame. You can see right around the webcam that the encoder is still encoding the same frame twice, but it's simply Elgato. You see it right around these 2 frames. It's simply Elgato that's encoding the same frame twice. And then you'll see the next frame here, and now it tries to catch up. In which case, you'll see the reticle teleport a little bit. There was also a clip at the start of the $10,000 tourney which was this one. You can already see the markers because you already know what it's about. It's gonna zoom in here, hit the guy on the head. Let's watch this back in slow motion. Oh, duplicate frame. You see that? Going forward, duplicate frame. And then here again, 3 frames that are frozen. So not only does he have 2 duplicate frames here, which is basically a stutter, but then the stream also doesn't catch up right here. It does not catch up because you can see that this is, you know, the natural next frame to it. But then mid-flick, he has 3 frozen frames, which then results in the stream catching up right after and having the reticle land on the head. And funnily enough, I found this by accident, but at the start of the video, you can hear Panda saying, "Shit, I'm getting frame drops."
Oh shit, I'm dropping frames. Oh shit. I'm fine
Yeah, you're
though.
lagging.
It's whatever.
This happens to every streamer, by the way. Encoding is just not perfect. And you can't really accuse somebody of cheating from these things alone. Now again, there's one more clip shown where basically you can see Panda flicking to an enemy here that was supposedly behind the wall. He's like flicking. No, it's hard to see here. I think you'll have to go to the original video for this.
When he moves.
But he's basically flicking right here, and when they matched up the clips, it was actually the case that there was an enemy behind this wall. There's nothing I can say here that will disprove this clip, but with all of the other clips being no proof, I can basically count this out as confirmation bias. Of course, you could say the same thing from the other side, so again, I'll let you judge this one by yourself. I'll link the original video down below. But I don't see anything suspicious here. I know it's really hard to see. Let me scale this up a little bit. I wish I had the original clips for this one, but I couldn't find it. But yeah, it's basically him adjusting the mouse.
For you guys, so you
Hold up, it's kind of laggy.
can see once again.
So he's just basically flicking here, and then flicking to that, and there's actually a player behind here. That's it. Anyway, I hope this video was a bit helpful. If there are any other examples, I'd gladly take a look at them, but so far all of these examples seem completely within the realm of a legitimate player, and it's just the Elgato 4K60 hitching at unfortunate moments. But if you stream almost every day for, I don't know how long he streams, 5-6 hours maybe, sometimes even more, and play as much as he does, there's going to be some clips that are going to look fishy, especially if you're this good. Anyway, that was it. Yeah, see ya, bye.